If you're deep into internet trends and culture like I am, at some point over the past week, you've probably heard about the tuah girl. She has gone viral for being interviewed on one of those on the streets interview style videos in which she gave a pretty wild answer to a very saucy question.
Oh, you gotta give him that tuah and spit on that thing, you get me?
This clip has blown up and gone absolutely viral, making her go overnight from just a regular woman living her life to an instant internet sensation. Along with becoming an overnight internet sensation, Haliey Welch, which is her real name, has now also signed a deal with a management company in the hopes of growing an online following and potentially probably becoming an influencer. And since going viral over the past week, she has started making her rounds, going on various podcasts to set the record straight about her life and the viral clip, because lots of rumors are spreading about her that are definitely not true. Well, obviously, rumors are never true, but there's a lot of misinformation and rumors spreading about Haliey. One of the biggest rumors going around about Haliey was that she actually lost her job as a teacher because of this viral clip, but it turns out that that is not true at all, and she, one, didn't lose her job, and two, never worked as a teacher. She actually worked at a factory. This whole situation with the tuah girl really got me thinking about the effects of going viral overnight and even the effects of fast fame and what that does to a person. Another example of a really quick rise to fame is Chappel Roan, who you might have heard of recently if you haven't been living under a rock. Chappel Roan is a musician who has recently rose to fame, even though she's actually been signed to a record label since 2015 when she was only 17. But over the past couple of months, she has absolutely taken off and her career has exploded. Chappel opened for Olivia Rodrigo, she played at Coachella among many other festivals, and even started appearing on late night TV shows. I think it's pretty safe to say that a lot of artists dream about having their music take off like this and having their career absolutely explode. I'm also pretty sure it's safe to say that a lot of people who dream of being content creators dream about going viral the same way the tuah girl has. However, I also think this instant fame and virality does leave a lot to be wary of. For starters, I think being shot into this instant fame and virality comes with a lot of people asking questions about you, digging into who you are, what makes you tick, your whole backstory, and all the juicy tidbits of information they can possibly get on you. Now, this is also where misinformation and rumors can spread like wildfire, especially if you don't already have a big online presence to back up some of the truth. We can see this a little bit with Haliey, aka the tuah girl, because she seemingly didn't have much of an online presence, and so because of this, people thought she was a teacher, which not true. Also, having people dig into you and trying to find all the little pieces of information about you that they can is incredibly invasive. When you go viral, people online now view you as a thing for their entertainment, and your life and your story is their entertainment. And a lot of people forget that you, a viral sensation, are also still a person who ideally probably wants a little bit of privacy. I do think people who are able to gain that fame or following slowly over a period of time are probably better able to deal with this kind of very invasive treatment from others, just because when you're dealing with it over a period of time, it's probably easier to learn how to deal with it, to learn how to be a public figure, rather than to just have it thrust upon you all at once. I think that having it thrown at you all of a sudden would be a very scary and intimidating, overwhelming experience for most people. Another thing that comes along with instant fame and virality is an increase in criticism and sometimes just plain old hatred, which is a lot to handle. Everyone who puts themselves online opens themselves up to criticism. And even me myself, as a small YouTuber and streamer, I've dealt with my fair share of criticism and hate. But when you get blasted into stardom, much like both Haliey and Chappel has, I think that all of those opinions being shoved at you at once, both positive and negative, are probably incredibly overwhelming. This can obviously have a super negative effect on someone's mental health, because having that many opinions, especially negative opinions, thrown at you is not something our brains are meant to handle, because that's just, it's too much, it's overwhelming, it's scary. Our brains are not meant for that. And so, not good for your health. And once again, I think anyone who is in a position of fame or having a following who's been able to develop that following over time is probably better able to develop a thicker skin and let more of those comments bounce off. Whereas someone who is thrust into stardom, they don't have that time to let that thick skin develop and get used to having those comments in small amounts, and instead all of a sudden they have just an overwhelming number of comments thrown at them. Speaking of people being awful, being thrown into fast fame unfortunately opens the doors for people to try to take advantage of you. Imagine you're brand new to Hollywood and your career is looking bright, and you have all of these people in front of you making big promises about how they can help you in your future and lead you to bigger and better things, only for those people to turn out to be scammers and predators. Unfortunately, that is not an uncommon thing to happen to people who do gain fame fast and don't have the resources and people helping them out to navigate those tricky situations. Of course, I don't know if either of our two examples in this video, Chappel and Haliey, are experiencing being taken advantage of in any way, and I really hope that the two of them both have the right people around them to help navigate their newfound fame, because it truly seems like such a hard thing to navigate, and they really need people who have their best interest in mind to be around them. I really think that being shot into this instant virality and fame is like entering a terrifying whirlwind. You have people yelling at you from all directions, you have doors opening and closing, and you have to manage it all while making the right decisions to continue to move in the right direction. While it is so many people's dream, I think it also seems like an incredibly stressful and overwhelming position to be in. This was actually something that Chappel Roan addressed not too long ago at a recent concert of hers, where she actually had to take a moment to calm herself because it was all just really overwhelming.
I think that my career has just kind of gone really fast, and it's really hard to keep up. And so I just being honest that I'm just having a hard time today.
And I think it's totally understandable that she needed a moment to collect herself. Now, all that being said, I definitely don't think gaining fame quickly or going viral is always a bad thing. I do think there are a lot of positives that someone can get from something like that. You have the opportunities to make money, start a new business, new career ventures, and general success. And overall, I think the positives for a lot of people would outweigh the negatives, but I do think the negatives are also very important to take into consideration when we think about people who are dealing with this instant fame. In the end, I really do think that this quick fame and virality is absolutely terrifying for the people who are thrown into it, especially for those who didn't mean to become famous and overnight have their entire life flipped upside down because of one viral clip. So what do you think about instant fame? Do you think it's all worth the potential success and opportunities that you get from it, or do you think the negatives outweigh it too much? And also, what would you do if you found yourself being the center of the internet's latest obsession? How do you think you would handle it? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!